process of increasing in size. A feature that is both individual, intrinsic, and throughout nature.
This is going to be so interesting, you know.
This is the moment we have been waiting for.
I'm feeling it now.
What has come before is now consigned to the history books. This new decade brings new challenges, new rivals, falling giants, and new beginnings.
Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots to the heart.
Oh,
in the back end.
Oh no!
Those who are climbing will meet. Who will fall by the wayside, and who will embody growth.
There's still wheel to wheel!
That is unbelievable.
League of Europe, grow or fade.
Good evening everyone, welcome to round 11 of the League of Europe. We are here of course for round 3, I said round 11 already, not round 3. We are here for the Spanish Grand Prix of course tonight. My name is Jake, I'm taking you guys through it as always, and joining me as always, it is the wonderful, majestical Mr. Killer Blue. How are you doing this evening?
Hola, and as always an absolute pleasure to commentate on this delightful division. I can't wait because I'll get right in there. Our championship leader isn't too confident about this race, I've heard at length. Old School 3000. He's not too happy with this track. He's not too happy with his pace. And and him and Brie have been the one-lap merchants. Well, not merchants, but they've been the guys always at the top of qualifying this season. So I'm very excited if someone else can stick themselves in there at qualifying if Old School's not going to be at the top. I really hope so. Because I want a championship battle, and I want to see. We've had 8 winners this season. I would love it if we could get a 9th.
It would be good to see a 9th. There's still a few people that still have yet to pick up a win that we know have the capability to do so. At the moment, it actually looks like Rudy isn't even in the lobby, which is really surprising. Because I thought Rudy was also racing, but.
It says Rudy's in on my screen. He's just one of those still loading in. Yeah,
that's fine. No worries. Yeah. So yeah, of course.
I think it was Caesar that slipped out.
Yes. So Caesar is one of them that have yet to. Well, no, sorry. He has gotten a win, but he's one of them that isn't unable to actually get in the lobby at the moment. I'm not too sure what is going on with him. Hopefully, he can get that sorted out very, very shortly. But as I said, we're for round 11. If you want to go, I'll just take you through the standings very, very quickly so you guys have an idea of who is where. So obviously I know at the moment Mr. Old School 3000, he ended up picking up P2 last week, so he goes a little bit further up in the championship. I think Bree was the one that ended up taking a win last week, even after Stuart's inquiries. I don't think there was actually any for Division 3 other than just a penalty removal. So, yeah, of course, Old School taking 2nd place last week. He is now on 116 points overall. Car Mentalist is now into 2nd with 103. And then Raleigh is the one that jumps up ahead of Rudy into P3 with 101 points. So 2 points separates Car Mentalist and Raleigh. Rudy in 4th with 100 points. So 2nd to 4th split by 3 points. Very, very close. And Bree taking that win last week. He's starting to climb his way back up to those guys. He's on 91 points. 9 points again behind those guys from 4th to 2nd. Excuse me. Tin Can in 7th with 78, Caesar in 8th with 58, Peter in 9th with 55, and RJ rounding out that top 10 with 47 points. Of course, Kip picking up that win in Russia earlier on this season. It sort of boosted him up a bit further in the standings than what it was before he ended up taking that win anyway. But already in the session, and I will quickly flip over to that for you guys now so you can have a look. It's looking very, very grey out there, Jake.
It is, and I've just heard reliably from the XL Discord that we have a wet race ahead of us from Bree and Tin Can. I'm not sure if that's full rain all the way through. I think it is, so I think we're going to see an inter-race all the way through, according to my not very anonymous sources. So you mentioned Bree as you were running down his win last week. He's really thrown himself into the title fight. Hasn't he, with that? Because he did seem to be in a little bit in no man's land after picked up 1 point at China, 1 point at Australia, and then a non-score at France after having not the tidiest of races. And I think he's really turned himself back in that now. He is just about 25 points off, within a win of Old School. And with Old School, as I said, lacking confidence this race, there's a real chance for him to throw himself right back into the title fight. 6 rounds left, that's plenty of time.
No, it certainly is. Definitely plenty of time for him to be able to try and, make his way back up towards Old School. And, yeah, I mean, he is a little bit clear of the other guys at the moment. It would take quite a massive mistake from Old School, and we know he's not particularly prone to those. So, yeah, hopefully he can maybe, Bree really just needs to try and keep on getting onto those podiums. Hope that Old School just has a bit of a bad race, and then for Bree, that puts him straight back into that title fight. But I'm right on board with someone that hasn't actually even won a race as of yet. Had a qualifying ban last week. It is Rudy. He is currently on a lap now, coming through, I believe those are turn 6 and turn 7, right behind Car Mentalist. I think should be able to let him go very, very close, though. I thought he wasn't going to move out of the way in the end, but only just moves out of the Dutchman's way. But Rudy, yeah, again, someone that has still yet to pick up a win this season, could be looking for, this could be the 9th race winner that we have this season. And, we can only hope that it's going to be our 9th race winner this season, because, I mean, I don't mind. I'm happy to see, of course, Old School. I'm happy to see Bree. I'm happy to see Commentalist all at the top there. We need someone new. We need someone new, and hopefully Rudy can be the one that provides that for us tonight. He does a 14.5 as a banker lap straight out of the bat. Chill goes into second with a 15.0, and I think there's a few other guys that are now coming on to start their laps. Caesar does end up actually getting into the session in the end, so it's good to see from him. Old School is actually going to be the next one across the line, and because there's going to be rain in the race, I think that's why we're seeing everybody going on a set of the softs.
Yeah, there's absolutely no need to try and qualify mediums. If anyone's having those thoughts, you can throw them out the window. This is just go for it on the soft tyres. And I was on board with Rudy as you were, and that was a really tidy lap from the Dutchman. He was hooked up in Sector 3. Everything was... His inputs were smooth. He was riding the curbs in just the right way. He looked really tidy. He looks very, very dialed in. And that's a very strong banker from what I was expecting. I thought we were going to see initially times in the 7s, 8s, maybe come down towards the 2s or 3s by the end. But yeah, Rudy almost in the 4s, so that is a very ominous time, I think, for the rest of D3. I think Old School will be chuffed as well with 14.5. But we've only got, I say only got, but there's now 6-7 laps on the board with 5 minutes gone. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of invalidations here today. It's very easy to run wide, especially through the kink of turn 8 as you head up the hill in the middle of Sector 2. But yeah, I've seen a lot of invalidations in practice, and I think we could see a fair few bottled laps today.
Yeah, I mean, there certainly can be. Without a doubt, I think KMK already has invalidated one of his laps, and I don't know if he's invalidated the second one yet. It doesn't look as if he is, so he's going for this is going to be his soft run now. KMK still, from Division 5 last season, taking the championship. Sort of I say dominated. Well, no, really, he did dominate the Division 4 pre-season races as well. So of course, him coming into Division 3 now, again, he hasn't really shown too much of what he is capable of. But knowing KMK, hopefully it won't sort of put a down on his spirit. I mean, what's his highest result so far this season for KMK? It's a P5.
I think it was P5 at Canada, yeah.
Yeah, so that's his highest result so far this season. Hopefully for him, he's able to maybe improve on that. A 16.3 at the moment. Not probably going to be a representative time of the Renault driver, but he has done 2 laps on those soft tyres, so he's probably going to try. It won't be too representative for him. And then, of course, the one that won last week, Mr. XL Bree, the Malteseman. He is on a lap now, coming through the final chicane, and we'll see if it's going to be close enough to both Rudy and Old School. Of course, both of those guys just separated just under a 10th on their times. Bree across the line. It's only a 15.3 for Bree. I'm a poet and I don't know it, but yeah, Bree unfortunately down in P9, not where he wants to be if he wants to try and do a bit of a late title charge.
He didn't look too confident on the lap. I said about Rudy, he looked like he was using the full reach of the track and maximising every apex. Bree, Sector 3 is a really hard one to hook up. It's a corner after corner that you don't get a time to think. It's just one feed straight to the left. It's a bit like Singapore in that regard. And if you mess up the first one, it just kind of starts to unravel from you. And it looked like in Sector 3, Bree just didn't have the same amount of confidence that he needed to hook it up, because say if you don't hook up one corner, you're not really going to hook up any of them, because the track just falls away from you. And I'm just on board with RJ here, and he's abandoned his lap. I think he had a mistake, because he was very slow coming through Sector 2, and he abandoned his lap. And someone else, talk about abandoning their lap. Car Mentalist, I tipped him in Killer Instincts. He's very quick. I've heard good things about his pace this week. But like last week, when he gave himself a self-imposed quali ban, we're seeing him not hook up qualifying. And generally it's because he can't get a valid lap in, or he'll have a spin or something, and it's just not coming together for him. I think he had 2 spins, he said, at Japan, and again, we're now 8 minutes into the session, and he's still not got a valid lap on the board. And I said last week, all it does is it just puts pressure on you to try and find more time, and you're just building everything onto yourself for those last couple of laps, and it makes it harder to hook it up because you're building up so much in your head. And he really needs a good lap here, because if he can't convert these qualifyings, he's not going to stay in this title fight. Not if Old School, not if Rudy, not if Bree are getting their early laps in. You need to get a good banker, and I say that he's on a very good first sector, 21.0. I saw Rudy did a mid 20.9, but yeah, Carmentless on a good lap right now. Let's hope he keeps it valid.
Well, I'm actually on board with one of the other title fighters here of Raleigh. He's just making his way around the final corner, and he's hooked it up quite nicely so far this lap. Could be a little bit slower than what the top runners are at the moment. Yep, into P3 actually. It's a bit quicker than what I was actually anticipating. So Raleigh into 3rd position.
YHYY's dropped out of turn 2. Sorry to cut across you there, but I think he just took too much curb. The back stepped out from him, and he sent that round. But luckily he's got a lap in. But sorry, back to you.
That's fine, no problem at all. Chill, going on pole position so far, best in his teammate, a 14.315. Rudy improves on his time at 14.332. Car Mentalist now making his way around the final corner and up towards the line. Where is the Brit in the Red Bull going to go into P8? A 15.147 for the relentless driver in P8 now. Damon still out qualifying his teammate and is invalidated on his lap, so he's not going to make any improvement at the moment. Old School, however, he is on a quick one. He is just coming around the final corner now, and well, could he be into the 13s? No, he is not. It's a 14.408 for our current championship leader. So Old School, fastest sector 3, and well, so far he's not actually the fastest Hash driver this race.
That is a surprise. That's a big statement from Chill, and I'm happy for him because he's got the pace, but he's come unstuck from it at times this season, and I can see I'm on board with Peter, and Vapor Trench is somehow facing the wrong way between turns 4 and 5. I'm not sure how he's managed to do that. I think he must have dipped a rear wheel on the outside of 4, and it just lit up the tyres and spinning around. But we'll see how Peter's doing now. He's currently in P6 with a 15.0, but he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him in Sector 3. He's 600s up on that lap right now. That's not enough of an improvement really to make big gains. I think it might take him above Damon. He takes lots of curb at turn 11. Normally I try to avoid that, but Kinkin, the Red Bull gets out of the way of Car Mentalist. He flicks it, and let's see how well he hooks up this last chicane. Trickiest sequence on the track. That looked very tidy. Uses a nice amount of curb on the outside. Has he got any airs left? No, he runs out just outside the last corner, but a really nice lap. And 14.6 for the AlphaTauri driver.
That final sector was where he needed that improvement, and that's where exactly he made that improvement. 4/10 of an improvement for the Dutchman. Up into P4, Tin Can. He's making his way around the final corner now and up towards the line. The Brit in the Williams, of course, Division 3 Season 3 winner, goes up into P6 with a 14.7. So Tin Can going to need a little bit of work to do as Luke improves on his time and puts it on P5 now, a 14.750. Luke, we haven't seen too much of this season, and I feel like that might play a little bit more of a part into it, because the guys that are battling for this championship, they're all going to be they're going to have that in the back of their minds, like they're a bit under pressure to try and push it through. The likes of Chill, the likes of Luke, the likes of I don't know if I would include Tin Can in that. I'm not too sure. You know, they and Peter, realistically, they can have a nice light breezy race. If it works out for them, great, more points for them. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So they are probably just going into it with no sort of pressure at all, and well, they're obviously just going to do the best that they possibly can. As Tim Mats is now making his way around the final corner, and let's have a look at what the Dutchman does. And it's a 15.1 in P10, just behind his teammate.
Not too bad from the two Alfa Romeo drivers. I was just looking at Vapor Trench. He had a moment, or he just decided to completely avoid the track altogether because he was deep into the grass out of turn 8, and now he lets Rudy go. But yeah, Luke, he's an interesting one. He's not had too many headline results this season, but I think now he's in that full-time seat that Miami's vacated. He might have a little more incentive to kick on now, and he is, last couple of weeks, I think he has turned something in the corner. He looks, well, that's a really good time so far to put him in fifth, ahead of 3 of our championship contenders. Bree and Carmentelis not really getting it together so far, and
even Raleigh as well. Raleigh, like, he's just up ahead of him.
Oh yeah, Raleigh, yeah. It's another finely poised qualifying session, isn't it? And somehow, despite not being confident, Old School has found himself ahead of his rivals. I know we have 5 minutes left, but he's ahead of his rivals. He's got Rudy very much in his sights, and he's got his teammate there as his backup, as his bodyguard. Even when it doesn't go right for Old School, as I said, he doesn't like this track particularly, he doesn't feel quick, it's going right for him. And that's the mark of someone who it seems like they could go on and win this championship. Where's Caesar going to go? P8 with a 14.8. I say it's starting to look very crowded in the back end of the top 10 now.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And as I'm on board with Rudy as well, just whilst I was running through his lap, he's invalidated coming up the hill in towards the end of sector 2. So Rudy not going to put an improvement on his time, and I think, well, I don't think he's making any other improvement. I think he's probably just going to make his way into the pits, yep. And I think that's Rudy's qualifying session done, because that's 3 sets of soft tyres used. Unless he went for the softer set, but I wouldn't have thought he would have done, because he may have wanted to try and qualify on the mediums if there weren't going to be any rain. So Rudy, I think that's his qualifying session done. Old School, out of turn 1, invalidates on his lap as well. So Old School, no improvement on his time. That's his 3rd set of softs use. That's his. I think that's Old School's qualifying session done as well. So P3, unless he opts to try and go for one other lap because of it being rain at the beginning of the session, it just means he's going to need to do a lot of cooling on his tyres and hope that he has enough fuel towards the end of his qualifying session. But at this present moment, it's looking like Rudy and Old School, the highest they're going to be is P2 and P3.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put money past them slipping down a little bit further. I'm not sure do you know if Bree was on a lap? He's coming into the pits. I saw he's very slow through sector 1, and I can only presume he had a moment at turns 1 and 2 and backed off, because otherwise that was quite a pacey in-lap. But yeah, do you think Old School's definitely not going again, because even if he's got the softer option, I don't think the game will turn that car around in time for him. Rudy, on the other hand, he might have a softer set. You know, I wouldn't surprise me if a few people have gone for the softer option. So we'll see in that regard. And who's the first one out on the final laps? It is Tin Can, Raleigh just behind, and I saw a Red Bull coming out of the pits as well. I think Damon. They're all coming out at the same time. The 2 Red Bulls. Linus, we've got a Haas, we've got an Alfa Tauri, we've got an Alfa Romeo, all coming out in one. So this is spicy.
I'll tell you what is very spicy though is Cam K. He's now just starting his lap, and he's going to come out in a wad of traffic as they all made their way out of the pits. So Cam K right on board the American, of course, making his way around turn 1 now, keeping it as nice and tight as you possibly can, and want to try and keep it as tight as you can through turn 2. You can mount that curb, but I know it can be a bit of a spinner curve. So Cam K does the smart thing, just not mounting that curb. 21.1 in the first sector. Cam K 4 tenths up on his time, so at least this could look like a very, very good lap for the American. As I said, he's got a lot of traffic in front of him, and I really hope that they do move out of his way. Yeah, there you go, Sofia moving out of the way for the American. Bit of a lock-up going in towards the hairpin he had though, but now coming up the hill again, probably I would say that this is probably the the hardest part of the track. The final chicane, yeah, of course you need to try and keep it as tight as you can without mounting those curves too much, otherwise they'll send you flying. But that part of the track, the middle chicane, that is very, very easy to invalidate on your time, and that's not where you want to go. Chill, I'm hoping he's going to move out of Cam K's way. It looks like he might do. Yeah, he does indeed. Hopefully he doesn't get caught in any other traffic, because he is up on his time by quite a bit, and hopefully this Red Bull doesn't get in his way. It doesn't look as if it will. But coming around the final chicane now is the American, and it's looking like this could be a good time for Cam K. Is this going to put him somewhere around those guys in the top 10? In fact, stays in the same position of 15.583, 3 tenths off of YHYY down in 14th position.
You can only say Cam K has underwhelmed over one lap so far this season. He rarely makes it out of the bottom three. Just on board with Tin Can, he went very deep into turn one, 800s off his personal best. It's been a scruffy lap. He has a little squirm of oversteer coming through the crest of turn 9. And Raleigh is also on a good lap behind him, but Raleigh's had a big moment out of turn 9. I just switched to him, and he got way too deep into the curb. The back end swung out, and he was lucky that didn't total his car. But I'll switch back to Tin Can, see how he's doing. He rides into the last four corners of this track. Let's see how well he hooks up the chicane. He avoids the yellow curbs, tucks it round nicely, doesn't run as wide as Rudy did earlier on in the session, and he takes a tight line through the last corner. His ERS has run out, and he doesn't improve. Tin Can stays 7th, and Raleigh also not going to improve, and he's backed right off as everyone's flying towards the line now.
Yeah, Old School, he has just started a lap. Chill was on a lap, and he spun around at that middle chicane that I was talking about. Rudy, he's invalidated on his lap once again as well. So, Rudy, again, I wanted to try and get the improvement. He's not making an improvement. Old School, as I said, just starting his lap. Someone's just improved on their time, and I believe that was the Dutchman of Peter. P4, a 14.6 to Peter's name, and I believe that was also Damon coming across the line to do a 14.759 as well. Still not up ahead of Luke, and that is everyone's qualifying done. Car Mentalist, he is done a 14.893, and that's P10 for him, as a lot more people are now making their way up towards the line and across the line. Rudy, as I said, no improvement for him. YHYY is going to be our next one across the line. Let's have a look at what the Finn's going to do. No, coming across the line, it's no improvement for him. 4.5 tenths down on his time. You've got the 2 racing points as well. Bree's in the pits, Luke's in the pits, so no improvement for the both of those guys either. Trench, I believe, is going to be our next one across the line then. He's invalidated on his lap, so again, no improvement for Vapor Trench. I don't know what has happened in this last part of qualifying, but no one seems to have put an even better lap time in.
Yeah, it's attracted in the bottles today. I've seen so many yellow flags out on track as people are backing off their laps, and I don't know, is anyone still on a lap? I think Peter's on. No, Peter isn't on a lap. Bree, oh, he's still going. Let's see what Peter can do again through the last chicane. And he's going to come towards the line. It's a very short run to the line. He'll have a little bit of DRS. He's run out of ERS. He does improve by 800s, but not enough to gain a position. And I was just watching Bree, as you said he came into the pits. He was only half a tenth down on his time, but in the last chicane, he went really deep into the first part and had to skirt right over those yellow curbs, and then ended up dipping a wheel into the gravel on the exit. So that completely botched his lap. Otherwise, I think there was the potential there to improve for Bree. I wouldn't say P12 was bad if it was a dry race, but if he wants to win the championship, that is something of a disaster for the Maltese man with a wet race, because overtaking in the wet, we know, is horrible on this game, and the same goes for Car Mentalist. So, a very, very interesting qualified session there. And, Chill on pole.
I think
Who called that one?
Time. Yeah, I think that is the first time we have seen QBR Chill on pole position so far this season, and I think since he's been in the League of Europe. So, congrats to Chill for that one. I believe that is his first pole position. Rudy is the one that's lining up alongside him, and then Chill with his teammate just behind him in P3. Peter in 4th. I believe that's also one of his best qualifying positions so far this season. Luke, that's definitely his best qualifying positions this season in P5 with a 14.750. Damon in 6th. Raleigh in 7th. Tin Can in 8th. Raleigh probably going to be a bit disappointed with that one. Caesar in 9th again, probably going to be disappointed, as well as Car Mentalist in 10th. RJ in 11th. Bree, could definitely tell you now the Maltese man is going to be having a few choice words. Down in 12th position. Tim Matz in 13th. YHYY in 14th. Cam K in 15th. And then Trench and Sofian, no improvements on their time. Sofian didn't get a lap time done. Trench, 151 was the best he could do, and that is probably one of the slowest laps I have seen on this circuit.
Just saying in the Division 3 chat, Car Mentalist isn't too happy with Rudy. Peter. I didn't see what happened on stream, but apparently Peter blocked Car Mentalist, which cost him a chance at 4th place. We didn't see Car Mentalist improve on that last lap, did we? So I wonder if there's going to be a report and some words sent to the steward over that if Car Mentalist feels he was significantly impeded, and if he says he could have got 4th, and then I'm sure he was. I'm sure there'll be a report heading Peter's way.
Yeah, well, I'm very, very intrigued to see how this is going to go. But yeah, as you can see, it's absolutely pouring it down. So let's have a look and see who's going to come out on top of this one. We know what Mark is like in the wets. and well, we know what Tin Can's like in the wet as well, so we could have a little bit of battle between those two guys, White Trial Y as well in the wet, but Tin Can and White Trial Y, they're a little bit further down the field than what, of course, Old School is. Could Rudy maybe play a bit of a part and help his teammate, or could we see anyone maybe from the bottom, from like the mid to the bottom pack, try and move their way up? Do you reckon, Jake?
It's going to be very hard, isn't it? I think unless there's a change to full wet or a drying up, well, that's even a word, drying up of the track, I don't really see much leeway for people to make gains, unless it comes down to one stop or two stops. I'm not too sure what the wear is like on these intermediates around here. But if it is a case that people might two stop, there's always a chance of their strategy. But just on pure on-track action, I find it hard to see anyone really cutting their way through. I think Bree's probably got the best chance. I think Carmentless has struggled when coming through from the back. He did tremendous last week, but he was also served very well by a safety car. I don't know. No one jumps out at me, to be honest. YHYY is something of a wet weather specialist. I remember him winning in Division 2 in similar conditions, although that was a dry to wet race. Yeah, the short answer is I don't see it. I'm trying to make a case in my head for someone coming through. I'm struggling. Everyone. We could see people gain from people in the top 10 making mistakes. Damon, it's kind of inevitable. He's not going to stay there for the entire race. No disrespect to him, but he's yet to score a point, and he got pole at Monaco. We'll see, but I can't see it personally. I don't know about what about you?
Well, the obvious ones being, of course, Commentators and Bree. Probably reckon that they could make their way up through the field, especially down in 10th and 12th position, but they just did not look confident when they were going around the circuit. Whether they were using the wet setup, I genuinely have no idea, because I don't know if it's going to go wet to dry. I don't know if it's going to be full wet throughout the entire race. Could get heavier. Could just be lighter rain, but still raining nonetheless. I've got no idea what is going to be happening throughout the rest of this race, and that's what's going to make this very, very interesting come towards the middle side of the race when people make their pit stops. So then at least then we'll determine where they will be on that one. But if I'm going to have to put someone on it, I'm going to have to put it on Carmentalist, to be honest with you, and hope that hopefully for him, he makes his way up through the field. But we are now just waiting for these 5 red lights to make their way on, and there you can see there's the 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights for round 11 of the League of Europe, and it is lights out, and away we go. And it looks like Chill has gotten the start that he needed. Old School also getting a very good start, already getting past Rudy even before turn 1, and he might even be eyeing up a move on his teammate. Is Chill going to try and fight this one with his teammate? I don't think he particularly will. So Old School already into the lead of the race. Chill is actually fighting it, and there goes Luke as well into 3rd position already. Rudy having an absolute, just an absolute mare of a start, although he's already gotten back past Luke. Luke trying to hold it around the outside of Peter as well. Peter also trying to challenge Rudy, going down in towards turn number 4. Going down the inside is the Dutchman, and it looks like, they're still going to remain it side by side, but the 2 Hasses have gotten away very, very well off the start. Peter still trying to hold it around the outside, coming through turn 5 now, and Rudy just making sure that Peter knows he is there, and Peter going out a little bit wide, coming to the exit turn 5, so Rudy does manage to hold on that P3. Luke back down into P5, Raleigh managing to hold that P6, so Tin Can going down his inside now, going up towards turn 6 and turn 7. Is Raleigh going to be able to hold that position? He certainly is. Tin Can no way through, and that's now going to allow Caesar to maybe try and look for an attack, but Damon already down in the P10 after the start. You said he wasn't going to hold it, Jake, and well, it looks like your suspicion was right, as there was an Alfa Romeo of RJ going very, very wide up the hill.
Sorry, Tin Can sent it really late on Raleigh into turn 10. He got the move done, but at the expense of some bodywork for both cars, I think, and now Carmentalist is trying to look around the outside of turn 12. There's nothing going there. I saw the 2 Red Bulls came to blows at turn 1. Carmentalist was pushed wide by his teammate, but managed to get ahead of him, and then later got ahead of Bree at turn 4, and now Carmentalist is sizing up Raleigh, who has a huge slide out of the last chicane. What else have we got going on? I think it's just Raleigh is bottled up these guys. That mistake has cost him dearly. He's already, I think, over a second behind Caesar in front of him, and I think this Carmentalist Bree battle is one that could brew all race long, but it's been a dream start for the 2 Hasses, isn't it? They've got a huge lead already. They look comfortable out there, and Rudy and Peter and Luke already quite a big spread up top.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Luke, obviously, for managing to hold on to that P5, sorry, at the beginning, and same with Peter. You know, they both had a very, very good start, but just unfortunate where Old School had a much better start, getting past Rudy. Rudy now, of course, down into 3rd position. This will still at least get him up ahead of Carl Mentelis in Championship, but he needs to gain those points on Old School, so he's going to need to find any sort of way he can past the Haas driver to maybe even have a chance of gaining a few more points on our championship leader. But Peter is already dropping back from those top 3 guys, so the Dutchman, well, I know there's going to be any DRS, but he's going to need to get a bit of a move on. Tin Can all over the back of Luke, and we know, like I said about Tin Can in the wet weather, he's already over the back of Luke, could possibly even get a move done just out of the final chicane and coming in towards turn 1. Tin Can, I suppose we can't particularly rule him out at the moment because he is still in this little group.
I mean, we saw how well he did at Singapore in the wet when the rain did come. He absolutely dominated that race. I think I'll be fancying his chances again today. Are we going to see a lead change for the lead here? We are. I think perhaps Chill decided to let that one go. I think that might have been coordinated. If Old School had his ears on, Chill decided not to defend, and Old School now has his teammate as a buffer between himself and Rudy, and we've got Carl Mentelis all over the back of Raleigh through turn 3. Had to back out of that a little bit because I think the car was just disturbed a little bit by Raleigh's in front, and then Carl Mentelis locks up into turn 4. He can't afford these little mistakes. He needs to get through as quickly as possible because his main title rival is in the lead, and his other one is in the P3, and he's down in P9.
He has got his other title rival though just up in front of him, the one that is in, of course, P3 at the moment, Raleigh, in 8th position currently on this circuit. Carl Mentelis is having a massive slide coming out of turn 6 and turn 7, coming up the turn 8 curve as well now. Turn 9 curve, sorry. Turn 8 and turn 7 he had a bit of a slide through. But Carl Mentelis, yeah, he just does not look like he's enjoying this track whatsoever. He's already been gapped by Raleigh now by 1 second. So where he was challenging him, he's now already lost out that time to him. Tin Can so close to trying to get past Lucas Chill, already dropping out on 2nd from his teammate as well. So Old School's now just going to be flying off into the distance as fast as he possibly can. And Chill, he's going to be playing that wingman role for him. Old School, fastest lap of the race so far.
I'd love to know how much these tyres are wearing, because the one stop is marginal on dries, and during the formation lap, the game, the predictive strategy was telling us it was a 2-stop or even a 3-stop. So if the game thinks, slide for Tin Can through turn 2, I wouldn't be using the curbs as much as you would in the dry. I'd say that in these conditions. But if the game is saying it's a 2-stop, I wonder how marginal the 1-stop is, because especially if it does get a little bit drier, these tyres could overheat as well, because overheating is an issue in the dry anyway. So I'm very fascinated to see if this is going to be a 2-stop or a 1-stop, and if it's a 2-stop, or if we see a split strategy, that's going to be very interesting, because if you're Old School, if you're Rudy, do you stick or twist in that? Do you go along for the 1-stop, which might time-wise seem like low risk, or do you play it safe with the tyres and go for a 2-stop? I mean, I'm speculating about things that might not even happen. This could be an easy 1-stop, but I hope, for our sake, it's not.
Well, I mean, I've been told that it's supposed to be light rain the entirety of the race, so we are going to be seeing pretty much, it is going to be into the entirety of this race, so that's probably why there's a few guys that are a little bit lower than where they were, going for the wet setups. Probably Bree, probably Carl Mentelis, I said. That's why they're probably down in 9th and 10th, but at the moment they haven't been able to make any sort of movements up on the field, other than just 1 place for Carl Mentelis and 2 for Bree. So even then, Bree is starting to drop back from Carl Mentelis. Carl Mentelis back within that 1 second of Raleigh. Of course, under the rain, there's no DRS, so it's all got to be done on raw pace. And at this present moment, the raw pace, it looks like it's with Old School. He's now almost 2 seconds up ahead of his teammate in 2nd position. Old School, he's just going to run away with it as much as he possibly can. And I mean, there's it could be a few little scraps that are about to happen. Sofian down in 11th position, again, someone we haven't seen too much of this season. Looks like he could be challenging Bree for that P10 position, one of our championship contenders, shall I say. Trench, he's moved up into towards P13 now as well. So the Vaporman hopefully going to try and score himself some certain points tonight, as Peter, the first one on track to pick himself up a 3-second time penalty, and he's up in 4th position. So he's going to be under a lot of pressure from the likes of Luke, from the likes of Tin Can, Caesar, and even, well, maybe, just maybe also Raleigh. But at the moment, those guys just behind Peter, they're going to be putting him under immense amount of pressure now that he's got that penalty.
I don't think we'd be seeing so many penalties in the rain, given the car's got such a slower apex speed that it's much easier to keep it in bounds. But so I'm surprised how early we've seen a penalty there. Telling someone else who does not look happy on track is Damon. He started 6th, now 12th, and he's slipping back from Sofian just subtly, and he has a slide through the last corner, and that's given Vapor Trench a huge run on him. And if Vapor Trench wants to, I think this could be his move. We can't tell if either car's derating because of the rain light. What are you seeing, J.
Apologies
Cole?
for that one, Jake. I was just right on board with Rudy and Chill. Rudy got down the inside of Chill in towards turn 1, had the outside for turn 2, and Chill was trying to hold the outside. Sorry, Chill was trying to hold the outside for turn 2, forced out wide by the McLaren driver and put Chill into the gravel. And now Peter is all over the back of Chill. So Rudy, he's managed to drop one hash. As a little bit of a naughty move, I must admit, but he's managed to drop the hash, and now 3 seconds separates him and Old School. He needs to get that move on. He needs to be able to try and catch up to that hash drive, our championship leader at the moment. And if he can do so, well, I'm sure we'll see an excellent scrap at the top of the field.
All is fair in love and Formula One, you know. If there's a move, you got to go for it. That's what people who like to quote Ayrton Senna say. If the gap doesn't exist, you're not a racing driver. So, yeah. So let's just go back very quickly to Damon. He just doesn't look happy at all, and that was very easy overtake for Trench. And I wonder why, because he's the only one who really seems to be struggling compared to where he started. I mean, Chill slipped back a little bit, perhaps based on the season so far. You'd think, yeah, his pace was never really going to stay there anyway, perhaps. I mean, maybe that's unkind to him. If he's listening to the stream right now, I apologise. I mean, Old School and Rudy are kind of already starting to walk away a little bit. So apart from Damon, no one really seems to be struggling too much. Everyone looks pretty comfortable, and we're not seeing any huge trains, really. And something that we missed earlier on is YHYY pitted. And I had a look at that pit stop. He didn't change his front wing. He just came in on lap 5, put some fresheners on, and came back out, and now he's just popped in the fastest lap of the race. I'm not sure why on earth he pitted, unless,
To be
I
fair,
don't know where. Sorry, Chill in the gravel. Chill's in the gravel. This is giving Peter a run into 9. Chill, I wouldn't fight that one back through there, not with the momentum he lost through the gravel. Is he going to have a look back at turn 10? No, he's too far back. Don't go for that one. And Chill's slow, gradual slide down through the field continues.
Wow, I suppose that was that commentator's curse there, where you were saying that Damon was the only one that was struggling and not Chill too much. He's now down in a P4, having a few struggles at the moment. And going back to, of course, what you were saying at the beginning of the race, with the game saying that it was a 2-stop for intermediates, are we going to see anybody else maybe make their way into the pits? Because it could really well be a 2-stop. And if it is a 2-stop, like the game is saying, YHYY might have put an absolute masterclass of a strategy call in, because then he can just ride free in clear air, not have to worry about anybody in front or behind him. He's just got to drive his own race until someone makes their first pit stop. And if it is a 2-stop, well, YHYY could get a massive undercut on these guys up in front, especially if they're all in trains.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's gaining a lot on RJ right now, so he's going to get an undercut anyway. And if he's at the point where he felt lap 5, yep, I can pit now and then 1 stop for the rest of the race, I can get through the rest of the race doing just another pit stop, he's going to gain hugely, because a conventional 2-stop, you expect people to come in lap 11, lap 22. But YHYY, he could have played a blind. If he's stuck in the train, he feels, I can go quicker than this. Come in, put some fresh inters on, got clean air, just pound around, quali lap after quali lap, and he can gain a lot of places when you think how close these trains are. I mean, Damon, Tim Mats, Cam K, RJ split by just over a second and a half, and Damon picks up a penalty. There is a Division 3 bingo for you all. It wouldn't be D3 without a Damon penalty. Sadly, no K-mark for a spin. But Peter's slipped back a long way, hasn't he, now, from Rudy? The top 2 have romped away, and this Peter train is Well, it is a Peter train. We've got a yellow flag. We've got an Alfa Romeo. Is that RJ? Oh no, it's Tim Mats. Sorry, Tim. I think actually both
he's got
Alphas
damage.
involved in that. So Tim Mats gets a 5-second penalty. Not sure why. He'll come into the pits and presumably, well, that was a very strange one. We've got Damon in as well.
Yeah, I think Damon must have, well, because I know Damon was up ahead of Tim Mats. I think Damon must have had a bit of a half spin. And the only thing I can think of is Tim Mats has gone straight into his front right wing because he's now getting his wing changed. Damon had quite a lot of front wing damage on his right end plate. Tim Mats had a bit on his front left. They're both getting their wings changed as we speak. Damon's already out of his pit box now. I really don't know what had happened there. So yeah, Tim Mats, well, is now down unfortunately in the final position. And yeah, if it is a 2-stop, then again, White. Well, he's now only 14 seconds behind RJ. He was like 17 2 laps ago. So if RJ was involved in that collision, which I don't think he was because he's still around where Cam K is at the moment. So I don't feel like he was involved in anything.
Yeah, like you, I'm oblivious to what happened, but something we missed in that is Chill is back ahead of Peter. I think either of us picked up on that, and Peter's coming in. I wonder if Peter's got damage, because he slipped back a long way from Chill in just one lap, and who's going to come in? We've seen a lot of pit stops, considering this might not even be a 2-stop. We've seen a lot of forced pit stops, and I think, yeah, he's not getting a new front wing. Yeah, so Peter just going for the 2-stop. He just wasn't happy on those tyres. He's coming in. And yeah, well, that confirms a 2-stop at least for Peter, and obviously for YHYY as well. And YHYY is going to come out some way behind him. But you think where these guys were at the start of the race, YHY has gained a lot, and another couple of laps, and YHY could be net ahead of Chill here if Chill stays out longer, perhaps than he should. And Rudy's catching Old School as well. I'm just picking up on a few things that are going on here. Rudy's taking 6-7 tenths out of Old School in the last 2 laps. I wonder if Old School's tyres are going off now.
There must be. They've got to be now, surely. And yeah, Rudy just looks a lot more confident. You can see it. He just looks a lot more confident than what Old School does at the moment. And Rudy, well, 1.3 seconds now behind him. I said, if he catches, it could be a very, very spicy fight. And I feel like, Jake, we are in for a spicy fight midway through in this race so far. But Tin Can, he still cannot find a way past Luke. Well, he's been stuck behind him pretty much this entire race so far, or for these first 10 laps. Now, we're probably going to be starting to see a few more pit stops as there you go. Luke into the pits. Tin Can doesn't go in. Rudy sets the fastest lap of the race. Is anyone following Luke into the pits? Just quickly switching between each of them. RJ is in the pits as well. So, RJ making his way into the pits. Looks like he may get jumped by YHY. Cam K now up into 11th position. Rudy set the fastest lap of the race.
Tell you what, YHYY is really catching Peter here. So only 1.2 seconds between them, and is YHYY going to come out ahead of Luke? This could be huge for YHYY. And in fact, no, Luke has overcut Peter. I wasn't expecting that. Luke has got the jump on Peter by staying out an extra lap.
So, how has that happened then? How is that the case? Peter really just, he doesn't seem to be liking these intermediate tyres then. I thought he was looking like, pretty decent, like okay, comfortable on these intermediates, but at the moment, he is struggling massively to the point where Luke's now got on an overcut on him. Luke's now technically in a net 4th position. Tin Can could maybe even get an overcut on Peter. I really don't know, Jake. I really don't know. Rudy's now within that 1 second of Old School, and now we're going to be seeing the spicy fight.
Surely Old School's got to pit this lap, and he doesn't. Rudy doesn't pit. One of the Hasses has to pit this lap, because surely they'll be aware that Chill stays out. They must be going for a 1-stop. That's the only thing it can be, because otherwise Chill will know that he's lost out to Peter, he's lost out to Luke probably, and he's almost certainly going to lose out to YHYY as well if he stays that much longer. I'll have a look. I'll have a dip in and look at what the times are now. But I don't think Chill's pace is good enough to stay ahead of these. He's just done a 28.6 with a PB in Sector 2 and Sector 3 as that fuel load burns off. And we'll see what Luke does. Yeah, he's slower than YHYY by about half a second a lap right now. So, yeah, this could be very interesting for the battle, for the podium, for that third podium place. If Chill doesn't pit very soon, even if he does, he could still come out behind them.
And even then, it could maybe even, well, I say it may or may not have an effect, but it could look like it could have an effect on these top two guys as well, because Rudy and Old School, they're going to be going head to head, literally by about 6.5 seconds up the road. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely don't know. Surely these guys have got to be in this lap. That's my only thing. They've got to be in this lap surely now. No, they're not.
Rudy stays out. Oh, if I was Rudy, I'd have thought the only thing that can keep them staying out is the one stop. Because otherwise, if these guys knew they were two stopping, Rudy would have been like, it's a no-brainer. I'll undercut Old School because he's got a nice amount of clear air ahead of Luke and behind Camke to slot out into. So my only conclusion could be these guys are one stopping, or they're trying it. Chill the same. And obviously Tin Can, Caesar, Raleigh, Carmentless, Brie, Sofian, Vapor, Camke, they are all committed to one stopping this race, it feels like. As YHYY gets ahead of Peter, who's into the pits again. And he's retired. I wonder if he picked up damage or something. He was on to his second penalty, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah,
his AI car's not having his wing changed. That's very strange. Perhaps he just thought, two stops not the way to go. I've fluffed this and
called it a day as such.
Yeah, that's very strange. There's Rudy now 0.6 of a second behind Old School. I love it to see these go wheel to wheel a la Senna and Mansell 1991 into turn one. Oh, we're not going to see sparks flying, but we might see some sparks flying in the chat afterwards if these two are anything to go by. I really hope we get some wheel to wheel action between them. As gripping as it is to see this kind of game of chess between them of not making a mistake, I want to see some wheel to wheel.
It would be good to see. Without a doubt, it would be very, very good to see. But looking at it, Old School, he just got a much better exit out of that final corner than what Rudy did. Rudy did manage to, I think, just burn a little bit of his ERS just to try and, catch back up to the Haas driver, but still, not close enough to maybe even getting a wheel close enough to Old School, so he's just going to remain behind him for now. Carmentalist closing back up to Raleigh. Of course, these two guys battling in this championship for second and third position. Well, will probably now be for third and fourth position once once this race has been finished. But Carmentalist, as well as Brie, also right behind them. A little bit of an interesting battle between these three. I suppose a little bit of a championship rivalry for all three of these drivers. At the moment, Raleigh is the one that comes out on top of it, and if it actually finishes this way, Raleigh will now be tied on points with Carmentalist.
I mean, with Old School in the race, this could end up being a battle, not so much for the championship fight, but for second or third in the championship. They can't, like last week at Japan, they can't keep hemorrhaging points to Old School because they're going to start running out of chances to get them back. I mean, Bahrain is next week. There's a chance Old School could miss it for the birth of his child, so congratulations to him. But if Old School races next week, Bahrain is his domain. We can't. These guys, Brie, Carmentless, Raleigh, they can't hemorrhage points in this way because then they're going to run out of chances very quickly to get them back. And the lead that Old School really have now is just staggering. And this race feels like it's kind of slotted into a holding pattern. We thought everyone was going to dive in for a two-stop race, but it's not going that way. And the top 11 just seem to be holding station right now, and I wonder if we need something to kick this race into life, a safety car or something, because I can't see, I don't want to be a pessimist, Jacob, but I can't see where anything is coming from right now. I mean, Carmental's been behind Raleigh since halfway round lap 1. He's half a second behind him, but I see no reason why that's going to change. Rudy's not made any impression on Old School since he's caught up to him. Tin Can, Caesar aren't really making an impression on Chill. It's all a bit low key right now, and I just want something to kick it. I want to poke this race with a stick and say, do something. like a 3-year-old that's just discovered a toad in the back garden. I just want this race to do something. It's not happening right now. I say that. Damon and Tim Mats are going at it into turn 4. This is the action we need to see. Wheel to wheel, the two Dutchmen. Tim Mats has the inside. He takes that position. Is Damon going to send it back into 5? He does. We love this, Damon. Thank you. Entertainment on a plate. And Damon just completely runs Tim Mats out of road. Tim Mats gets a 3-second penalty. I think he'll have that removed. No love lost between these two. Damon goes very deep and he just cuts across Tim Mat nicely. And we've got some pitters. Tin Can, Raleigh, Stofian, Kamke, all coming in. So that will be for a one-stop, of course. 16 laps out of 33 gone. And Tim Mat's going for it into turn 10. Ooh, these are barging each other out of the way. Like, I can't think what it's like, but they're sliding like crazy through turn 12. Tim Mats, I think, it just has to back out of that one. I have to say, my prediction has truly come true. Damon has slipped fully out of this race, hasn't he, after another decent qualifying.
I'll tell you what's very, very interesting now, though, is well, you wanted to poke this race with a stick, like you would with a toad in a garden. At the moment, Luke is the one that has gotten up ahead of Tin Can and has dropped him by an extra second. YHYY is now all over the back of Tin Can. Of course, YHYY may need to make another pit stop anyway, so he may be able to cause a little bit of chaos when the rest of the pitters come in. But I still feel like he'll need to make another stop. If he goes to the end on these
old school
tyres, that makes that very, very, very interesting. As yeah, old school in. Rudy doesn't come in though.
Maybe Luke might be able to go to the end. YHYI I'm much more dubious about, and I'm very interested to go on board with Rudy this lap. I want to see how committed he is. Clearly, he must feel he's quicker than old school, because of course he eased up to the back of him and then hounded him lap after lap, and we'll see. Is he up on his sector time through sector 1? He's not, but very close to his personal best. And I wonder if he can just nail this lap, and he nails pit entry, and he nails pit exit, he just gets the braking and everything, all his apexes right. Well, I say that, he misses turn 5. Can he overcut old school? I would love to see it happen, but we will see as everyone's slotting out of the pits, and Carventless comes out in P14 behind Kamke.
I think he had wing damage. So, well, I was just taking a look on board with the pit stop. So, the guys that came in, Old School, Caesar, and Trench, and Carmentalist. Carmentalist was in the middle of Caesar and Trench. Caesar comes out of the pits. Trench comes out of the pits. Carmentalist doesn't. I think he had wing damage, and I think he had to change that wing, and that explains why he is so far back now behind Caesar, so far back now behind Trench. Raleigh, well, he's well behind Raleigh as well, about 5 seconds behind Raleigh. Carmentalist, I think he got that damage off of his teammate when they were going a bit, elbows out at the beginning of this race.
I don't want to say I've cursed him, but I mean killer instincts, but it's not been a good race. Someone I thought had very good pace and was really looking in good shape. Just looking at Raleigh's sector times, he is up in sector 1 and in sector 2 from those laps behind old school. He improved by about half a second, 0.6 of a second, but it's not going to be enough. Old school he's got even faster on those fresh tyres, and he's kept a hold of the lead. Tin Can, where's he going to come out in relation to Chill? Chill is behind Luke. Is he behind Tin Can as well? Yes, he is. Chill has lost out 2 places here. He obviously gained one to Peter, or Peter was taken out of the equation when he retired, but I mean, these guys, Tin Can doesn't have to pit again. Clearly, he pitted lap 15. Luke might do. Tin Can doesn't have to pit again, so that is a genuine position gain for Tin Can. He is net podium, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Is that for Tim Mats and Damon again? Tim Mats into the pits.
Yeah, it was a very, very feisty battle in that final chicane between those two guys. Damon just sort of cutting off Tim Mats, and Tim Mats, giving him that half spin for Damon cutting him off. So, I don't know if it's more down as a racing incident or more towards Damon just not leaving enough space on the inside for Tim Mats. But Tim Mats now into the pits. Tin Can all over the back of Luke, and where we thought it was going to be like a Haas 1.
Caesar and YHYY, sorry. Caesar and YHYY side by side through 11. Caesar just has to back out. He forced his way up YHYY's inside through 10. and then tried to hang it out through the kink of 11, but there was nothing going there. White just shut him down. And, sorry, as you were.
Yeah, I mean, where we thought it was going to be a battle, or where we thought the Hasses were going to have a double podium tonight, it's looking like it really could be Tin Can possibly on the podium, as well as Luke getting his first podium of this season as well. So it's looking clear cut that the top two are going to be Old School and Rudy, as Caesar getting past White YY down there for P6 and P7. White YY though coming straight back at him through turn 2. I think a little bit of a bump. I don't think Caesar was expecting that and just gave him a little bit of a tap there, but White YY still holding on to the back of Caesar. Caesar now up into 6th position. He's got to get a little bit of a move on to try and catch up to the back of Chill and Tin Can, and then we can see a 4th-place fight for the third spot on the podium.
I think what's making this finally poised is that Luke, no disrespect to him, is probably right now the slowest of those behind him. So he just bunches everything up, and Tin Can really struggled on traction out of 10-7 there. Luke got away from him, and it denied Tin Can any chance. You've really got to try and come out of the last corner, come out of turn 9. Within a couple of tenths, you've got to be hounding them through the chicane if you want a chance. Without DRS and limited slipstream, you have to, because everyone's going to have be chock full of errs with the pace they're going at. So if you want a chance to overtake, you've got to be coming out of the last chicane through the last corner, just a couple of tenths behind. Fastest lap for Rudy there, but it's so hard to get close. You need to be nose to tail to get a chance, and it's another penalty for Damon. Is it any surprise that our only penalties in this race are Damon and Tim Matz in 15-16? God bless them. Well, in Tim Matz's case, nearly a lap down. I don't think so. Luke had a little moment through turn 2. He didn't carry as much speed as Tin Can. Tin Can will try and follow this through, but yeah, there's nothing really going in terms of overtakes right now because there's no opportunities. It's so hard to find a way through because you just can't follow as close as you need to.
I suppose that, there was standing water in the rain. Oh my god, Tin Can going very, very deep through the hairpin. I thought he was going straight into the back of Luke. Luckily avoided that. Chill then also having a bit of a look, and now Caesar has joined the party. He is now in this 4-way scrap for the third place on that podium. Top 2, I said they're a bit clear cut. Rudy biding his time a bit, I think, maybe just to try and have a bit of an attack on Old School, but Old School, he's not giving any sort of leeway to Rudy, making sure that he does not have any opportunity to get an attack on. And Old School, well, he's just holding that lead of the race and doing everything that he possibly can at this present moment. Been a very good drive from the both of them so far tonight, and well, it's looking like those two are definitely going to be clear cut for first and second, unless the safety car comes out and could play a massive part into the rest of this race. But yeah, at the moment it's this battle for the third place as Luke is in.
So he was on a 2-stop, and I tell you what, Caesar's very close to the back of Chill, but Chill just got an easier run out of the last corner. But yeah, I did wonder if Luke was maybe trying a funky 1-stop going long in the second stint, but clearly his tyres were not going to make it that long, and he's put himself right out of it because he's going to be 10-15 seconds off the back of Car Mentalist, I think. So that strategy not really working, and I think YHYY is going to find himself in a similar situation very soon. So where does that leave it? It leaves us Old School, Rudy, Tin Can, Chill, Caesar, YHYY shortest to pits. That puts Raleigh 6th, Sofian 7th, Bree 8th. Not a bad effort from Bree at all, considering where he started. Vapor will be 9th, and RJ 10th, Camke 11th, and at the moment Car Mentalist is on for just 1 point if YHYY pits, which I think he will.
Yeah, so it's looking like, well, Car Mentalist is going to be dropping out a bit more of this championship fight. Old School going to be getting well away from it. Rudy will look like we're going to second in the championship, and Raleigh into third. And well, I suppose this is where things are going to get a bit tighter from now on. Old School just doing as much as he can. As I said, just staying up ahead of Rudy. They have now dropped guys from third downwards by 10 seconds. Tin Can now just is the one in third position, doing everything he can. 10.2 seconds behind those top 2, and he's just keeping Chill at base. So he's the one that's really stopping. It has won 3, both double podium for him. As YHYY in. Camke has followed suit, and I'm not too sure why Camke has made his pit stop.
I'll have a look when Camke came in. I don't think it was that early. It was He was lap 15. He came in.
He came in at the same time as the
Um,
other intermediate runners.
Yeah, he came in the same time as Tinkan. So that is strange. He had no damage. He's got no penalties. I wonder if he just wants the fastest lap, or I can't think what other reason he would have to pit. I mean, it's given Carl Mentalist an extra point, which he'll take. It's given Bree. Bree's up was 8th anyway. Yeah, so it gives Carl Mentalist an extra point, but that's a very strange decision. And Camke, I have to say, he's having a very strange season. He's not really doing the business in qualifying, and then in the races he seems to kind of have moments and then disappear and fizzle out in the second half of races, and he just doesn't seem really motivated right now to kind of compete with the guys in this division. You know, he was so dominant in Division 5, and now he's just not looked really that confident, aggressive, rapid version of himself this season. I think going up to D3, because I know how much he wanted D4, is taking it out of him. And again, he's having another really bizarre race. It's Arche's into the pits.
So RJ, I think I can understand why he's also made his way into the pits. It's probably similar to Luke as well. So Luke now could be looking on for 2 points, and YHY could maybe even be looking for 1 point for tonight. Let's have a look though. Yeah, RJ's still stuck in the pits. Is he changing his wing? Because he was stuck in those pit stops he's stuck in the pit box for a very, very long time.
I'm not too sure. Will he come out ahead of Camke? Yes, he will in the end. My voice hyped that up too much. Yeah, easily retains P13. Does RJ Camke 14th, and Damon and Tim Mats all by themselves. So, we've got an overtake. Camke. Oh, it was RJ Rounds. Did he have a big moment there? I just saw a flash of a yellow flag. I wonder if he got wide through turn 3. Because if you run wide, the edge of the track almost pulls you off. And it's very easy to go quite a distance wide if you do understeer through there. And in these conditions, it will be very easy to understeer. So I wonder if he just overestimated the grip he had from those new tyres. Yeah, again, I want to poke this race with another stick. The pit stops were briefly entertaining. We've got Sophia and Bree trenched in a little battle, and we've got, that Tin Can holding Chill and Caesar, but neither or none are really making an impression on the other. Old School seems to have temperament to keep Rudy covered, because so long as Old School doesn't make a mistake, it's going to be very hard for Rudy to get anywhere near him. So, we've got a huge spread, haven't we? We've only got 2 drivers within a second one in front. That's Bree on Sophia and Chill on Tin Can, and Rudy on Old School. But we've got a lot of big gaps out there because of those split strategies between 1 and 2 stops. I think the rain always brings more field spread anyway, because people aren't necessarily as confident, so you end up seeing bigger gaps than you would see otherwise.
Yeah, no, and I was just riding on board with Rudy as well, and he is it looks like he's getting a little bit out of shape. I think he's trying his hardest to catch up to Old School, but where he's trying it a bit too hard, it's to the point where he's now, he had a moment touching the gravel going up the hill. He's very, very lucky that did not actually spin him around, but yeah, Rudy, I think he's just trying a little bit too hard to keep up with Old School, to the point where, I'm surprised he didn't get a warning, or if he did, then understandable, but yeah, he's doing everything that he can just to try and get past Old School, to try and keep up with him, even just to start off with. But getting past him is going to be is a whole different ball game.
The only thing that might come to Rudy's saviour or salvation is the ERS stakes, because Old School is under 30%. He was on 25 coming into the red zone of turn 1. Rudy is up around 60, so he's got twice as much as Old School. If we could see in the last few laps, that could play out if Old School, if Rudy times his ERS use well. Of course, he probably won't know what Old School's on. But if he gets lucky and times that well, he could get a huge run on Old School down the main straight. And if he decides to use ERS all the way down, if Old School's derating, there's half a chance there. But right now, I can't really see otherwise what Rudy's got to offer Old School to really try and take that position from him. And the same goes for Chill and Tin Can. But in their case, they've got near identical ERS, so this is fizzling out. But I say that Kindless gets a penalty. I think, if he makes any progress, that's going to stop him gaining any more places. He's locked into 10th, and he could even lose 10th if Luke is able to get a move on those fresh intermediates.
It's all order, that's for sure for Luke, but yeah, he's got 7 laps, 7 seconds to catch up. Literally, you need a second a lap. Yeah, that's it. It's all order from him. Caesar's now picked up a 3-second time penalty, and Raleigh, look how close he is to being on the cusp of Caesar, and he's seen that Caesar's now got a penalty. Do you know what he's done? He's chucked up his ERS on the straight and making sure he stays in that 3 seconds of the Indian up in 5th position. So now Raleigh could be looking to get a few more points on the board, and that's going to help him with his battle against Comments, and it's against Rudy at least, to gain at least a couple more points on Rudy. But Rudy will still get the jump on Raleigh no matter what. Rudy, I think he really wants his first race win, and it's looking at Old School. Well, I think he's going to be the only one that's going to deny him of it.
It's Imola this weekend in real life Formula 1, and this is played out in front of us, a repeat almost of Schumacher and Alonso from 2006, and then Alonso Schumacher as it was in 2005. This is just relentless pressure from Rudy, and I can't imagine how the concentration that Old School is feeling right now just to do what he would normally do without thinking about it. But when you've got that kind of pressure on you, it makes you doubt and second guess every apex, every braking zone. You feel every little mistake you make, and your eyes are always drawn to that delta, and you count your errors in terms of hundredths of a second that you trade away to your rival, and it is relentless when when you've got that person behind you and they're there and they're not going anywhere. You've just got lap after lap, corner after corner. You just have to not make a mistake. And when you're in the position where all you have to do is not make a mistake, with another guy behind you, it becomes suddenly very, very hard. What is second nature to you, you suddenly second guess.
Yeah, no, you certainly do. So, yeah, I don't know. It's looking like Old School could hold off on him. It's just at the moment it doesn't look like really he's able to go for a move and try and catch on him. As you said though, the ERS usage is what could play a massive factor in it. I think Old School's just biding his ERS at the moment, just making sure he has enough to at least know that he can defend from Rudy. Rudy still holding it around 50%, and just making sure he can use as much as he can to attack and possibly defend for when if he does end up getting past.
I wonder if Tim Matz could distract either of them here and give Rudy a little bit of a chance, but the Ghost, I don't think he unsettled the Haas too much. So Raleigh, said about him putting on that spurt of Urs to get into the penalty window of Caesar. That's not really worked, has it? He's lost 9/10 since then. And although Caesar and Chill are bottled up behind Tin Can is quicker, comfortably, than Raleigh, it seems, right now, because Raleigh, Caesar being stuck behind those two isn't really helping Raleigh's cause too much, is it?
No, it certainly isn't, and I'm still just right on board with Caesar. He's gaining onto the back of Chill ever so slightly, and I feel like Chill's now going to maybe need to start looking behind him as opposed to in front of him trying to go for an attack on Tin Can. Caesar just looks very, very quick at the moment, and well, as I said, I'm just making a little bit of a mistake going through turn 3, so apologies Caesar for the commentator's curse on that one. But yeah, at the moment, Chill, he's just biding his time. He's basically doing what Rudy's doing, but one has to defend him, one has to attack him. Chill, he's just biding his time, waiting for maybe a mistake from Tin Can, but which you can't particularly do, especially around this circuit, because, well, I suppose one mistake can play a massive factor into it, but can't wait for that mistake to happen, because it could just be too little too late, and then you don't end up getting that position that you need for the race. So Tin Can is doing well at the moment to hold up on that P3. Chill though, he needs to put a bit of pressure. Caesar kind of needs to do the same, especially considering that Raleigh is still hovering around that 3 to 3.5 second gap between him and Caesar, with that penalty.
I'm just watching the Rudy from behind Old School, and I am mesmerised by just the relentlessness of this fight. It is unceasing, that neither of them is giving any quarter in terms of making a mistake. Old School's probably just thinking, please just dip a wheel in the gravel on the exit of 8 or do something. Give me some breathing room. And it is just fascinating to watch because nothing is happening, but you can tell both are absolutely on the limit. And it's just fascinating to watch because there is very little to watch right now. But Rudy did get within half a second at the top of the crest here of turn 9. Wasn't able to do anything with it through sector 3, but it does seem that little sequence of 7, 8, 9 is where Rudy's quickest, and it happens again there, just briefly dipped under half a second, and it does there. You go 0.48 seconds, and then sector 3 he just can't stay close enough to get that run out of the last corner. I just look at the yellow flag where it's just Tim Matt's car coming to rest. I'm surprised it didn't retire early, to be honest, and I'm very impressed that Damon is still going there, 35 seconds off the next car, and actually really does look quite close this time. He's half a second off coming out the last chicane. Is he going to lose any more time? He takes very tight line through the last corner, but I think again Old School has enough in his pocket that even though Rudy has the Urs advantage, by the end of the straight Old School's gained a couple of tenths on him.
Yeah, I think it was just taking too much of a tight line through that final corner. I think it was just at a point where Rudy just could not capitalise on that, and now, well, Old School, he's just, he's doing as much as he can, as I said, just holding up ahead of Rudy. 4 more laps to go. I feel like that might be the finishing order, unless there is one massive mistake that happens between them. Another interesting little battle, though, that is occurring, is of Luke and YHYY. Both those guys doing that 2-stop strategy. Luke in P11 holding up ahead of YHYY. He's up to the back of Luke. I think he dropped down by about 3 seconds under their pit stops, and we know what YHYY is like in the wet weather. He is, he is definitely one of the quicker ones in the wet conditions, and I think, from my knowledge, he has the fastest lap of the race so far at the moment. Yeah, he does a 26.5. So the Finn on the attack in the racing point. YHYY trying to maybe look to get the 3 points instead of just 2 for this afternoon.
Well, I think YHYY looks a lot more confident, doesn't he? Luke's moving around through his apexes, through the braking zones, and YHYY just looks more planted. A little slide for Luke coming up 8, although we're seeing a lot of that in these conditions. The back end always just wants to step out on you because you ask for more than it's willing to give. And Rudy's much closer this lap, isn't he? Just looking at the gap, as I'm on board with YHYY down straight, it keeps it under 6 tenths going to turn 1, but that's not good enough. He's got 2 more chances into turn 1, and I don't think it's going to happen unless Old School makes a mistake, but it's just not coming. But I think further down, as you were saying, we could see a change of hands for P11. YHYY tried to cut the inside of the penultimate corner, and like really taking that tight through the last corner, it didn't do him any favours, and it just denied him any chance of carrying the speed he needed to get a run, as Cam K gets a penalty.
Yeah, so that's going to at least allow RJ to get the jump on the American down in 13th and 14th position. Unfortunately, no points for the both of them, but yeah, Cam K down in 13th, RJ 14th, 2.5 seconds behind Cam K. Going to get the jump at least on him, so at least there's a little consolation for RJ, but very unfortunate for Cam K for this afternoon as well. Yeah, I think you're right. We're at a little bit of a lull period. Of course, we've got 2 laps left to now go of this race, as that was Damon just letting the 2 leaders on by. Chill, he's doing everything he can just to get past him. Matt cannot seem to find any sort of way. Rudy, the same thing. YHYY, same on Luke. He's just, well, it just looks as if at certain corners YHYY is trying to maybe, where he could go for a move, Luke just looks like he's getting a much better exit out of those corners, and it just denies YHYY of any capability of getting a move done on the racing point. So yeah, very unfortunate of course for all of these guys. They just can't seem to find a way through. Of course, they're not going to have any DRS to their aid. It is just on pure speed, and well, we've only got 1 more to go after this lap, and Rudy, his time's running out.
I think one thing we've learned from this race is just how important qualifying can be in these conditions. It was essential, wasn't it? I think the only person who's really made reasonable gains has been Tin Can towards the top end of the field. Have a look at position change. Sofian actually up 10, Tin Can up 4. Of course, Damon and Peter's plight will have helped on that regard. So Sofian will get the drive of the day for the game, but Rudy's 4/10ths behind going into the braking zone of turn 10. This is as close as he's been all race. He's just got to hope. A little error from Old School is all he needs through 12. They both keep it really tidy through there. Little slide maybe through 13. Nothing going. The gap is half a second. We've got a yellow flag as Damon gets out of the way of more people. This is as close as Rudy's been. It's half a second less than coming on to the pit straight. They've both got huge amounts of spurs though. I don't think Rudy can do anything unless Old School runs out at the end of the straight, and he's going to, but the straight is not long enough for Rudy. He is too far back, and is that his last chance gone? Unless Old School, like I said, I've been saying all along, unless he makes a mistake, but it's not coming for Rudy. I think this first one is still going to elude him.
Yeah, it's looking like it will, as Damon's still just having a bit of a slide. Rudy, though, look how close he is to the back of Old School. You can see he wants it. He really wants to try and get past the Haas driver, our current championship leader. At the moment, though, it's looking like Old School is going to extend that gap. I think by about now, it might even be around almost a full race win ahead of Rudy in second position. Rudy on 100 points. Yeah, Rudy on 100 points, getting 18. Old School was on 116, goes up to 141. So, yeah, literally it is around just under a race win as what Old School's going to build that gap up at. Rudy, I think that was your last chance, bud. Unfortunately for you, I think P2 is where you are going to have to sit. And Old School, well, started third on the grid. His teammate was the one that qualified on pole position. And Rudy, I thought he was maybe going for it in the final chicane. Old School, though, very deep in it was the final chicane. Rudy's trying to go for it on the inside. There's still both wheels to wheel. They're banging wheels. Old School's gone round. Rudy!
Oh my word.
They've spun!
They've spun. Tin Can, where are you at? There's
Oh
a
my
race win
God!
going here.
No way, Tin Can comes to win!
Oh my word!
What?
Oh my. Oh my god,
Oh
and
my
Chill gets
God!
third. Fourth for Old School. Rudy gains in the championship. I think he's going to get a penalty for that. And probably a hefty one, but right now Rudy gains the championship. But Tin Can, my word, the Rainmeister does it again. A second win in 3 races for the Williams driver in the most remarkable of circumstances. That is incredible.
Oh my goodness, what have we just seen? Rudy, you're definitely going to be having some stewards inquiries after that. Oh my goodness. What have we just seen from that? Rudy, Old School coming together. I think Old School, he thought it was all sorted out. Went a bit deep into that chicane. Rudy took it as normal. Oh my goodness. I really... Oh. Wow. Oh my. I'm speechless after that, Jake. I really am.
That is astonishing. And in fact, the gap between Rudy and Chill, 21 thousandths per second. That's how much Rudy held on to second by. So 3/10 in the end split our top 3. And like you, I am just incredulous. That is the most bizarre, incredible end to a Grand Prix I've ever seen. I wanted someone to poke the race with a stick. Rudy did it at the very last corner. So let's run through the final result. Tin Can wins astonishingly. Rudy second where he started. Chill upholds hit at third. First bonus from him. Old School fourth. Caesar fifth. Raleigh sixth. Sofian seventh. Bree eighth. Trench ninth. Carmentalist ends up where he started in P10. Luke 11th. Unlucky for him on the 2-stop. YHYY 12th. RJ 13th. Camk 14th. Damon 15th. Tim at 16th. And Peter, after he retired in the pit lane for P4 on the grid, 17th. And breathe.
I'm genuinely speechless. I'm genuinely speechless. That was that was an insane ending. That was I've never seen that. I've never seen that happen. Honestly, at the final corner, Old School just did not get the exit that he wanted. Rudy got the good exit. they both were just banging wheels, and when I saw they were banging wheels, I could see something was going to happen. I did not. I thought one of them was still at least going across the line. Old School for leading pretty much the race in almost the entire time. Rudy just sitting behind him, biding his time.
I tell you what did that was Rudy. Rudy had that, you know what, last lap, screw it, and had that half lunge onto Old School into the last chicane. It upset Old School, it knocked his confidence, so to speak. He went deep and then had to really adjust his line and go right over the curb for the second to last corner, and that really is what gave Rudy the impetus to force his way through at the last chicane. And what I find staggering thinking about it is, you think how much Tin Can was losing lap after lap. Like, literally, had he lost 3/10, had he done that race 3/10 slower, because he was nowhere near them. Him and the leads were just running at their own pace. So if Tin Can's race had been half a second slower, he wouldn't have won that. In fact, he might have come third. So that is just
I'm genuinely still speechless.
staggering.
I am speechless with what we have just witnessed.
I don't think Rudy is too happy looking at what he's put in the Division 3 chat, and I can only call it in the moment because obviously we can't see a replay right now or either driver's POV, but surely that was Rudy's fault. He forced his way through when that corner, frankly, is not an overtaking place. He wasn't really within his rights to try and move there. He did, and ultimately I suppose you could say it worked because he finished ahead of Old School, even if he still came second. But I'm not sure what Rudy has a right to feel too miffed about there, because I'm all for saying, you know, if someone's coming at you, you've got to give them space. But I don't think Old School or Rudy was entitled to space there. He wasn't. It's who overtakes at the last corner of Spain? I've never seen it.
I've never seen that
in real life or in a game. I've
never seen that. That is the first time I've ever seen something like that happen. That was. I've got no words. I've genuinely got no words for what that was. That was bizarre. The unfortunate thing for Old School is that he finished outside of the podium, where Rudy may get a penalty for it if it's obviously put into the stewards. Tin Can will still have that win of that race, despite being in third for the majority of that race. So, yep. Tin Can, I suppose you could. That's an absolute blessing for yourself, my sir, and you picked yourself up your second win of the season. I don't think he was even expecting that. Congratulations to him, of course, also to Chill as well. He managed to pick up the third position in the end.
I think it could be second for Chill. I think Rudy will get some kind of place penalty. I don't really see what Old School could have done wrong. But that's just my take instantly. I haven't seen it once, so I could watch it again and change my mind. But tell you what is exciting, coming up very soon, Division 5, tune in to see Tin Can and Old School in the commentary box together. Not that they have any grief with each other, but, you know, both of them, well, one of them thought they were going to win the race going into the last corner of the last lap, and then the other one did, from 12 seconds behind. So that's an interesting commentary duo.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. So make sure you guys are tuning into that one. Also, make sure you guys are tuning into Division 2. That's also going to be going on very, very shortly. In fact, we better get into that lobby, Jake, before we end up getting missed out. Thank you to everybody for tuning in for tonight. And yeah, I said make sure you check out Division 2, Division 5 starting in about approximately 5 minutes' time. And we'll catch you guys next week for round 12 around the Bahrain International Circuit.